Welcome, everyone. I am Nathan, he is Raven, and we are the Super Butt Brothers from another mother.
Okay, now we know why Princess, it's obvious why Princess Bubblegum wanted him to go get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wants to know what's in there.
Yep. But that lousy jock won't tell her. She won't let her in on the club.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I felt like this episode felt more like a pilot than the actual first episode. Where both like jump you into the world, obviously, but I feel like at the same time, while this episode jumps you into the world, it still does a clear introduction of like each of the characters. Where it's like, okay, this is Princess Bubblegum. She gets in danger. She calls Finn her hero. She gives Finn tasks. Meanwhile, Finn very much loves being a hero and will do anything to like be heroic, and Jake is a big brother that looks out for him and is like very wise and blah blah blah. Like, you get all the dynamics right there, and like the Candy Kingdom is full of like colorful people who mean well and are gullible, but like also just don't have any spatial awareness at all and get into trouble a lot. Hence why there's a need for a hero. So like, you got all the clear dynamics right there. And like, yes, the first episode technically does that as well, but I feel like it's very much more confusing because it just throws a lot more at you on top of all that. They're just like, it's harder to keep up. Whereas like, oh wait, there are zombies now. Oh wait, there are candy guardians now that are enforcing this royal promise for some reason. That is a big deal, but never really comes up again, apparently. I don't know. But like, yeah, it's like, that first episode is way more jarring than this one.
Yeah, no, this feels like a pilot. Like, and if you're watching this as a season, I feel like if you're watching like episode 1 to 4, I think we felt it last time where it was like episode 1 to 3 was like really good,
and
then episode 4 was like, but then like episode 5 like makes you go back like, oh, this show is actually like, has potential. This show has a lot of potential. This is why the show is cool, because it's like an adventure. Like, again, it feels like a D&D game being like written into a story.
Now, watching this really makes you curious to see what the actual production order for each episode was, because I know sometimes with shows, like, the airing order doesn't really match up with like the order the episodes were made, and this feels like the airing order might not match up. I don't know.
It feels like a pilot to me. Like, this feels like this felt to me like it could be the pilot for the show. Like, I know there is an actual pilot before this, because there is. Like, there's like a pilot that doesn't have the same art style. But I wonder if this was the first episode they wrote and made, and they put it just as the episode 5 lineup. Because it's interesting because that first episode, like you said, really throws you into the world without any introductions whatsoever. It kind of just like gets you immediately into it. While this one felt a bit more progressive, like actually like introducing you to the characters, because in that first episode Jake doesn't play like a big part.
No,
in it. It's Finn and Princess Bubblegum. So
you're just kind of like, why is he around, and why is he the only dog among all these candy people? Like, what's going on?
Exactly. So here you have like the full dynamic being presented from the beginning. So that's fascinating. It's fascinating. It could be that this was like the first episode put in the 5th. But yeah, I do think it's interesting to me, just again looking at it from the perspective of so many years now, like just knowing what's going to happen. I think Princess Bubblegum. I think Princess Bubblegum is fascinating with Princess Bubblegum because she's like this weird dictator creator, because she like created her own people, and then she also like it and it's complicated because I don't think she's evil, but I don't think she's good either. She's not righteous.
She's neutral, like the ant.
Exactly, because like I think she would kill the ant if it would lead her to what she wants, which is just protecting her people.
Yeah,
like
she's
the
just ultra pragmatic is what she is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, as long as she's protecting her people, she will even kill her own people to protect her people. So there's this like, she plays God a lot. Like there's this level of like playing God. There's this level of being like this complete ruler and having to control everything to her own benefit. But in the sense of like, she's always trying to find ways to protect her people. So it's like very much like that. I think it's fascinating how she's acting here, because like there's this level of like, I think she, in this first couple of seasons, she's like concealing who she really is from Finn. But it kind of breaks, like in some moments the mask breaks, and I do enjoy that little moment where she's like being all princessy like and like breaks for a moment, and like her voice changes and everything. Like
yeah, it's a very cool subversion, where I feel like they're playing with like the typical old school princess trope, where it's like, yes, she's like the princess, the damsel in distress. She's very grateful for her hero and like sends her hero off on these heroic tasks so he can go off and be heroic, blah, blah, blah. And then she's just there waving him off and like being all kind and protective of her people. But then you realize, oh, wait, there's actually more to it, like as the show goes on, or even in the context of this one episode. They play it very innocuously here, that's the point where it's like you can still laugh it off, but you still kind of see the setup where it's like, oh yeah, she sent Finn on this heroic quest, but this heroic quest just amounts to her wanting to know a secret that some jock Minotaur won't tell her, or like she's very blatantly keeping a secret from her people, a secret passage, that she's like, no, don't look, people, I don't want you to know my secret passage, and everyone's like, okay, yeah, whatever, and like again, you're laughing it off because it's a funny joke, but it's a joke that's very much representative of like how she treats her people in general, of very blatantly keeping secrets from them, and they're just too naive and dumb to realize otherwise. So it's very much two examples of her using Finn and her like keeping secrets from her people, but again, kind of played off her laughs or played innocuously, because she's playing with that trope of she's a princess, she's the one that does these things, that like just like in all those old-fashioned stories that they're representing here.
And we know that she can create smarter people and she can educate them better, but she chooses to leave them like that, to be able to control them. So it's like very and they live simple lives, and like in their kingdom. So it's like, it's really interesting to me. Princess Bubblegum is an interesting character. But yeah, like the destroy that again. I am so surprised how much stuff this show could get away with. And I remember this episode. This is one of the episodes I remember because it resolved everything in a way where I felt okay when I was a kid. Like it like didn't traumatize me, but I do remember the feelings when I saw this for the first time as a teen, I think, where like the old ladies died. Like I was like, oh my God, like, whoa, what was happening? Like, then like Jake not only comforting Finn, but also me, because I was like, oh right, they're illusions, it's not real.
You're definitely resonating with Finn in that moment, I'm sure, reacting just like he did.
Yeah, and then they show up at the end as well to show you that they're okay. But that's the thing, like this show, like the thing is that regular show killed people all the time like this, or it's like they exploded.
Yeah, that whole sequence just felt like a regular show bit.
Yeah. So it's like it was in the same period of time where death was funny to a lot of people. So it's like
it was a time where like non sequitur humor was especially funny, and using death as a non sequitur joke was especially funny as well as a result.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, suddenly things are escalated like on a dime. Okay, I guess we're doing this now. And yeah, that was regular show's entire MO.
That moment where, like, again, I really like the theme here of the episode, which is like righteousness. Like it really shows us who Finn is as a person, like in his heart. And even though he does wrong things, like we know that he's always going to be righteous in the sense that he's always going to try to be, he's always going to try to destroy evil and protect the innocent. And I really like that. Like that's such a beautiful picture of a hero that I'm really surprised, because it's not something you see a lot. And it's not something you saw a lot during that period of time of the 2000s. You like was the time where like anti-heroes and all this stuff was becoming really popular. So to see someone like presenting righteousness in the sense of like even someone who like try to eat your brother, right? You return the dollar when they're like crying and like because you took their dollar, like you're still gonna return it to them, right? It's like that's very much like Jake says, like that was righteous. You did the righteous thing. I find that beautiful. Like I find like that's the beautiful thing about Adventure Time to me is that it actually does give you some pretty deep human things to chew on in each episode, like whether what it is like something very simple or something very complex or an idea, it always presents you with something that is very very beautiful. And I think that's what makes the show so interesting to me, because it's not just like a goofy show and it's really funny, but it also like gives you like a deep I'm pretty sure kids like got some pretty like nice lessons from Adventure Time in a way, like, and the people watching it later. So and the same thing is happening like with Fiona and Cake right now. It with its premise following us as adults and trying to also like help us in adulthood with topics that as adults that we face. So I think the show does a really good job at that, and I find it very fascinating.
Yeah, and I've talked about this last time as well, but I think this episode also just paints Finn's character in an interesting light, like you're getting at. And what I notice is how, again, he's a very passionate character, and I feel like this episode does a great job of showing that off. Whereas I think with his passion, it can cause him to feel very deeply, and that can either be like for his benefit or used against him. Like I see both sides of it, where it's like again, going back to like scene with the gnomes and the gnomes destroying the old ladies. Thanks to his passion, he can feel deep affection and deep empathy for people. So like obviously he has a deep connection to and appreciation for Princess Bubblegum and his brother Jake. But also like for these old ladies he doesn't know, he feels empathy for them. So like when he sees them get destroyed, that triggers his passion, and that can like bereave him and trigger and like bring him to action, or just like give him a lot of guilt when he's not able to do anything about it. Or on the flip side, thanks to that passion as well, that passion can also quickly turn into fury when, say, something he deeply cares about is hurt. Like that fury he got when Jake got eaten by the giant, where it's like, oh, well, now you've taken away the object of my passion, my affection. Now I'm just going to bring it back to you now. Like I'm pissed off now. He's good, and did something about it, like doing a straight Nard attack to the nuts.
But I killed him already.
And it very much and like again, you see the passion is the fury as well when he was like having that scene where it's like, no, I'm not going to kill the ant. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to kill that ant. This ant is neutral, and so if anything, I'm going to attack you instead because you're pissing me off and triggering my fury. Which is rooted in my passion. And then that he just kind of goes overboard the next step, the moment like the key guy comes in dressed like the devil and just immediately punches him. So like on one side you have that passion that can turn into deep empathy and guilt that can eat away at him, or that passion can turn into fury that can be righteous fury in many cases, but can also kind of accidentally go a little overboard and like accidentally lash out at the wrong people. Like we said, like what I mentioned like the other day, where like he accidentally lashed out at tree trunks trying to protect her because he was so worried about losing her and her getting hurt, because again, that deep passion and empathy. It very much reminds me a lot of like how Raphael from the Ninja Turtles is often depicted in a lot of formats, because he's often seen as the most caring turtle. It's just he has a lot of anger issues, but he uses it as a protection because at the end of the day, he has a very sensitive, soft heart that cares deeply about his brothers, and that care shows off in passion, either in deep empathy or in often cases, deep fury. And I think you see both sides of that in Finn here. The main difference is that he doesn't quite have the same level of anger issues as Raphael, but like there are definitely parallels.
Yeah, like I totally get it. Like it is, I think Finn is very much a character that's like driven by passion, as an adventurer, as a hero. Like he really is driven by passion. And like you said, the moment something doesn't feel right to him, like he'll either like it's interesting because
it's either internalized or externalized.
Exactly, because he did freeze up when it came to the old ladies dying, right? Like, and I think it's like that's interesting because I think he freezes up when he sees someone he cares about, like, or he's like trying to save get hurt, but then he acts like the moment, like you said, like that he like puts it all together and says like freaks out about it. So there's this anger, like there's this little righteous anger kind of following him essentially when it comes to his passion, and even like, but that could cause problems with hurting the people that he shouldn't be hurting, right? Like the key guy. Like
these are my pajamas.
That face he does. Like this show has some pretty good faces. Like it really reminds you of SpongeBob. Like the good like close up faces from SpongeBob. It's really good. But yeah, this was a really good episode.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun. Let's keep going.
All right.
Let's see. Episode 6. I'll never kidnap again.
Word to your mother. Yeah, solid cautionary tale of don't take in strays, kid.
Yeah, like definitely. I think that's definitely it because it's like it really reminds you of learning. Like I guess not everybody goes through this, but it really reminds me of learning that lesson as a kid. Of like if you like get like a little baby bird or something, and or like an animal, one of those animals, and you pet him or you touch him a lot, like it loses the scent of the mother and stuff like that, and then like they straight up kill them, like if you give them back or leave them alone, basically like they reject the baby. So it is like a very much a cautionary tale in that sense.
Yeah, I really feel like you said, obviously not everyone goes through it, but I feel like it very much is a trademark childhood experience because it's kind of the inevitable result of kids having fun and being curious in the world, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm having fun exploring this world, I'm having fun enjoying all this. Oh, I found a really neat, fun thing. I love it so much. I want to bring it back with me so I can have fun with it all the time. Like that's obviously a natural response, especially when you're a kid and you're young and curious and innocent, and you want to keep that up. And like that's exactly what's happening with Finn right here. But like the important thing that you need to learn is, yeah, it's great that you love these things. It's great that you're curious. It's great that you want to enjoy as many good things as possible. But sometimes things are best left in their natural environment. Like things aren't always best left with you. And like the most responsible thing you can do is just be more conscious of that. Be more aware of that. Where it's like it's so good to be curious. It's so good to care deeply about things. It's so good to like want to go out and enjoy the world and enjoy those good things. But sometimes you just gotta understand that some things are where they are for a reason, and you have to respect that. Because if you don't respect that, that's gonna ruin the enjoyment for both the thing and for you.
Yeah, and like again, like going back to like Finn's righteousness, like he's trying as well, like within that curiousness that you mentioned, because he's still a kid, right? Like he's still curious. Like he was, like they find like this little baby thing like alone because the baby thing is not around his family or anything. It's like there's a level of like, oh, let's take it in, and even. I think it has to do a lot with Finn's trauma of being abandoned as well. Because, like, he says, like, when Jake says, like...
I won't let it die again, or won't do something like that.
Like, he said, I won't abandon him. Like, when Finn was like, well, we have to take him back to where we found him, he goes, like, oh, I'm not going to abandon him. And then when they learn about the mother and... he sees the mom, and the mom is not responding to the way he thought she should. He's like, moms should love their babies, like love your baby, So it's like it plays into that too, because we know that he does carry some of that, knowing that he's like clearly adopted into the family he was, and that he was abandoned as a baby. Like I do think that he still carries that with him, and we see it here. He's like being very nurturing, because he was nurtured by someone that found him. So like he learned to be that. So it's like there is this sense of curiousness that comes with that too, and then there's a sense of like him trying to protect this little creature.
Yeah, again, he just deeply, deeply cares.
Yeah, and then we have the piece that really like made me so like this really like is ingrained in my head of a little creature dying because you don't know how to take care of it. And again, this is an experience that not everybody goes through, but I have like when I was a kid, I found like this baby nest with like that had fallen off a tree, and the babies were gonna like, so we tried to take care of the babies. We fed it like rice, and we saw that it was getting stuck on their throat, on their throats. So we were like, we don't know what to do, so we're just gonna leave them here. And I still feel so like, and then like my mom told me like when I told her about it, it's just like, oh, you should have told me, so like we would take care of them. And then when I went back to look for them, they were gone already. So I was like, somebody must have eaten them or taken, like, you know, something's eaten them, like an animal, like another animal. So it's like, it really, again, like not everybody goes through this, but I think people who grew up like in places that are more like
people who spend a lot of time in nature growing up, like who had like a park or a backyard or something. I feel like, I think there's an element to this, like in Adventure Time, where I feel like some of the creators probably had that experience as well, where like all the times Finn and Jake spend like in forest or in dark woods or things like that, they probably grew up with similar experiences.
Yeah. So it's like this feels genuinely like a childhood experience for people who have grown up in like more nature-filled areas. So it's like very much this experience of, like you said, it's in nature. It should stay in nature. Like when we try to take care of it, we don't know how to take care of it. We're children. We don't know. Like
it's a very good way of showing like it's like a traumatic way, a quote unquote safe traumatic way for kids to just start to realize how big and unknown the world is, and like how beyond their capabilities it is.
And everything that you do has consequences. And I think that is fascinating to explore in a kids show. It's like everything you do has consequences. Even when you are trying to do the right thing, there are still consequences that will come from that. And they could be the opposite of what you thought. Like they could be bad. They could be consequences that affect something else because you were trying to do the right thing. And like you said, like they were trying to have fun. They helped, and they were trying to help this little thing that they found alone. So it's like,
yeah, it's completely innocuous. Like there's no malice. There's no conscious choice of Finn to like actually deliberately take this thing away from where it should have been. Like you said, he just found it alone and just thought, oh, this thing's alone and could probably use some family. Let's take it with us. Like it was a completely innocuous, safe choice. Like any other kid probably would have done that in that same moment, because they just didn't realize the full scope of like what could be happening here. It's like, of course, a kid's not going to think, oh, there's probably a mother nearby, or there's probably some place that it's straight from. They just think, oh, it's by itself. We need to take care of it. Like that's an innocent thing, an innocent, valid assumption that any kid would make.
Exactly. But yeah, I find it really funny the way they talked about when the jiggler explodes into like, because the way they talk about it, it does not sound like they're talking about him like extending. It sounds like he exploded and they're picking up his flesh from the ground.
Like, where'd the jiggler go? Oh, you know, he's there and over there.
He's everywhere.
Since you're having trouble on your end, would it be helpful if I share the screen on mine and play the episode on here, since I'm not really connected?
Can you do that?
I know I have the option to share my screen. I don't know if I have the option to like adjust it, but I can try.
I can adjust it. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, let me see. Here, first, let me move on to the next episodes.
What's your time?
Ricardio.
Oh my gosh, this is another one. I've had this experience before. Feeling jealous, but also being right about someone's character, where it's like you are jealous that like one of your friends or your partner or whatever is hanging out with someone because you want to hang out more with that person, like, and I'm talking about like as a kid, right? And also as a young adult, like I guess this has happened to me as a young adult. I've never been a very jealous person, but like you said, like I think passion, like kids who are driven by passion, people who are driven by passion, like me, like I'm driven a lot by passion. So there are moments where I think when I was a kid, I felt jealous, or in even my adulthood, I felt jealous of someone that I really liked or someone I loved, a best friend or a friend, where I wanted to hang out with that person, but that person was hanging out with someone else. And that someone else was not great, was actually not a good like person, or like was not treating them properly. And I was like, thought, why would you want to spend time with that person, not me, when they're not treating you the way that you should be treated? And like people didn't notice. They didn't seem to notice those things. But I did. Like, and it's like later on, like you learn that person or your friend goes like, oh, they did this to me. They did this bad thing to me. And like, and I'm like, I tried to tell you. So like, there is this, I think that it's a real experience that happens. And I find that fascinating because I have experienced that before. So it's like, I really see myself in that experience. Besides that, do you have any thoughts on that before I get more into the...
I guess I appreciate how they try to like balance both sides of the equation. Whereas I feel like whenever you see a cartoon before this show try to do like this tropey episode of like the whole jealous thing, like whether or not the new guy is evil or not, it kind of goes from one extreme to the other. Where it's either yeah, the new guy is just straight up evil. He had every right to be jealous. Or it's, oh no, like he actually was a good guy all along. He had no reason to like suspect him. He just looked evil, and like that was a joke all along. Ha ha ha. We're
hello.
What's up? You hear me? Hello.
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, go again. Sorry, I kind of lost you for a second there.
No worries.
What were you saying?
I was saying, I guess I just really like the pushback this episode tries to do when it comes to handling this sort of situation, because like this is a trope you see in animation a lot, and I feel like when in a lot of cartoon shows before this, it's either in one extreme or the other, where it's like either this new character comes along and is suspected by one person of being evil, turns out yeah they were evil the whole time, and like that person is right, blah blah blah, and they were even though they looked really good. Or on the flip side, it's either, oh, they actually look super evil up front, and so one person suspects them, but then by the end of the episode, the twist is that actually they're not evil all along, and the person suspecting them had no reason to, and now everyone's having a laugh about it. So this episode kind of tries to do in between. So I like the pushback between Jake and Finn, where like they were literally both sides of that and doing it both at once. Now, obviously, he still wound up just being the obvious villain the whole time, and Finn was right. But I do appreciate how Jake just tries to add like a little bit more nuance to it, where it's like, no, he could be a good guy. He just looks evil. I mean, we're in a weird world that like people look strange, and in reality, lots of people can seem bad up front and not really be bad. And so, like, I appreciate that healthy dose of realism, even though Jake wasn't right in the long run. In this, or at least in this case, it is a nice balance of like, it could be both. It could be either or. Like both are very possible in any situation. So keep an open mind, basically. So I like to do that.
I like the fact that and I like the fact that it's still presented. He is jealous. Like it's not. He's still not justified by his jealousy, is that he legitimately saw something. Jake doesn't see it, and Jake is like interpreting it with his own gut, which is telling him, hey, like maybe he's not bad, right? But Finn has some proof of it, right? Like he sees something going on that looks pretty suspicious. Now he could be wrong, of course, about it, which is what you said. Like I think that's such a smart thing to present. But
now I lost you.
It is Finn, like we've been saying, is a character driven by passion. So he feels this emotion, this new emotion. Suddenly feels this new emotion. He doesn't understand it. So he follows that emotion, right? But in doing so, he finds something else. Like there is this wrong feeling that he feels about this person. And that is something that a lot of people would like there's this weird thing that like we can't study that much, but there is this sense of like when it comes to empathetic people, there's this sense of being able to catch like certain cues that other people can't from others. And like that includes like vibes, essentially what people call vibes of like, oh, this person's giving like the wrong vibes, right? Now that can always be wrong, right? It could be projection. I am projecting my own feelings towards that person, but sometimes it could be right. And I think that's what this episode does so well, is like thinking about it from the perspective of both of them going like with their guts. I like what Jake says, like let's unite our guts. Let's like, come from a place of, I'm not gonna come in and just assume the worst. Let's just straight up just go and ask him. Basically,
it's really good. Like both of them are just like, like you said, both of them are acting according to their gut instincts, but at the same time they're acting according to the information that they individually have and working according to that. It's kind of like the saying, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, where it's like they're both trying to work according to information they have, which includes their gut instincts. But the thing about instincts is even that is kind of like a subconscious background working of information that your body already knows to go off of. Like you develop these instincts because your body has already known to utilize and rely on that information before. It's kind of like when, like, I don't know, you're working in the military, you're training a lot, and so you develop instincts for war or for battle or for fighting or whatever in general. Like, and so it gets to a point where a lot of the conscious stuff becomes subconscious, and you can argue that subconscious are the vibes, the instincts they're feeling because they've been trained to do that. And so I think it's the same thing happening with, say, Finn, like being an empathic kind of person, where like he's relying on his gut, and his gut's telling him slightly different things than Jake's gut because his gut's relying on that instinct, which is information that he naturally is inclined towards subconsciously because his body, his mind, his heart, whatever, has relied on that information a lot in the past, and so therefore is able to gravitate towards that sort of information more readily and relies on that a bit more, as opposed to Jake, who doesn't quite have the same information, but at the same time is still doing his best to operate with the logical information that he has as well. And so he's able to understand, I don't have all the information, you don't have all the information, so yeah, let's work together to get more information, and then we're able to make the most informed decision possible when we have as much information as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't act, I like it because they don't act until they have the full information.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what happens in this episode. Because, like, you could, somebody who's not analytically thinking about this episode could just assume like, oh yeah, at the end of the day, you're right about your assumptions. It was evil, right? But that's not what this episode is like saying. It's saying, hey, until you have the full information, don't make assumptions.
Because Finn was about to admit that he was wrong and that Ricardio's a good guy the moment he thought he had all of the information, and then Ice King comes along and says, oh, no, here's the final piece of information. Now you're fully informed. And like you said, that's immediately when they acted. Otherwise, Finn was fully ready to admit that he was wrong based on the information that he had got.
Exactly, because we know that Finn, that's what I'm saying, like, Finn was acting on his jealousy, and we know that. But he also has these instincts that are built as an adventurer of experiencing evil at its fullest. Like, he has this instinct, and there's this thing that kicks in before that instinct, which is jealousy. This new feeling that he's feeling. Oh, I'm jealous of this. But then he gets that like instinct that you mentioned that has been built up over the time as an adventurer and hunting evil things, of like, this guy seems like evil, like this guy seems bad. And then Jakes brings the other perspective of, no, don't let that fool you. Like looks don't matter. Like, hey, like maybe you're just judging his the way he looks. He looks evil. Like,
and like again, like those are probably a fair assumption that Jake has developed in his time of adventuring, because this is a weird looking world they live in, and lots of people can seem weird on the surface, but actually good people on the inside. So like, I'm sure Jake is fully aware of that as well, and I'm sure Finn even understands that too.
Exactly. I think Jake more like, he can like relate to that a lot. It's like, hey, like as a little like weird creature himself, right? And we know that he's also like very much someone who likes to interact with other creatures.
And it's also very flexible in his perspective, and also his literal body. So like he can make himself look like a scary looking monster, and obviously at the deep down he is not. So like he being a shapeshifter knows as well as everyone that looks don't mean everything.
Exactly. So it's like, I like where this particular episode takes it again, where they compromise. They go like, well, let's find out. And they literally go up and ask, hey, are you good or are you evil? Like, and once, like you said, I think that's fascinating that Finn, once he thinks he has the full information, he's ready to admit, hey, like, even though he does punch him, because he's like, like what? Like, he does seem like he still want to protect the princess, and it's like he's carrying rope and come on, like if you see someone like breaking up a bottle, like I would
like not doing anything to de-escalate the situation, because that's also another thing. Like Ricardo is deliberately escalating things and triggering Finn's fury in that moment. It was like he's not trying to explain himself. He's just being confrontational, and that's kind of exactly all Finn needed in order to get triggered and lash out.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, you're coming at me, I'll come at you first. So it's like, it makes sense. And when he like has some of the more of the information that Ricardo is saying, right? What he's saying is like, oh, then I was definitely wrong. I'm definitely wrong, until like Ice King gives him the other side of the perspective of what he was missing, the information he was missing. So in a way, I find it really interesting, because in a way, like Ricardo is doing something evil, but it comes from that same place that we were talking about in episode 3 of Ice King's loneliness and his like this. There's this pity that comes from Ricardo of like wanting connection to someone, and he finds like this smart person, because the heart is smart. And that brings us to Simon, because that's like another thing that hints that there's something more about Ice King, because we see Ice King being like really dumb and stupid, but his heart is somehow smart. So it's like and we know that the heart, like people thought that the heart like was connected to the mind like most of the time, and a lot of like the lore, the magical lord of things, like in these worlds, it's like the heart is still something that thinks. It's connected, like you think to it. It's very poetic, right? Like it is poetic to us now, but at some point people believe that the heart and the brain were working together. Basically, we're working things. Like people thought that feelings came from the heart, that thoughts came from the heart. Like so, but we know that the heart is our mind, right? So So I find it interesting that this heart is smart. It's a smart heart, and it's like essentially like an essence of both Ice King and Simon, like kind of melding together a bit better than because we know that the crown is what corrupted Ice King into becoming crazy. But his heart, in a way, his heart was corrupted too, but his heart contains a little bit more of his sanity in a way.
It's like its heart hit. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say, but I think what I was trying to get at is, yeah, his heart has an emotional intelligence to it, and I think his heart is his intelligence, but like taken away by passion. Like that's the key word we keep using here. I feel like there's kind of an interesting parallel between Ice King and Finn here, as they're both people who like in this, particularly in this case, are let their passions get away from them. Where like Ice King's heart literally got away from him, and even though the intelligence was still there, the main problem is it was like taken away by passion. It was taken away by I'm going to use his intelligence just for the sake of selfishly getting what I want, and that's like literally like taking Princess Bubblegum away. Where it's like I just so deeply caught up in my passions, my loneliness, my need, that I'm just going to use this intelligence not as a way to make things better, but more as a tool in order to selfishly get what I want, in order to like use people the way I want to do it. So it's basically like, from both Ice King's perspective and Finn's perspective with the jealousy, it's like learning how to not let your passions get away from you, because if you let your passions get away from you, your heart can do some very messed up things, even though it comes from a good place of a need of like desire for connection and human socialness. If you're still not careful, you can wind up doing some harmful things with it.
Yeah. I think that's better. Like, yeah, I think what you just said so much better, because it's like, it is this intelligence combined with this passion, because it is the heart. So it's like this emotional, like, intelligence that's coming. Like, I have this knowledge, but I'm going to use this knowledge for my own selfish means, because I want to love something. I want to love someone.
Because these emotions are so strong, I want to lean into that. Whereas, like, you can say the opposite is like a case where someone has their brain running around that still has some heart, still has like some care for the people around them, but so caught up in the logic that kind of downplays the emotion. So that would be like the opposite in this case. It's like in this case, it's the heart, the emotions are going haywire. And still acknowledging the intelligence, but kind of downplaying that and just kind of using that to be subservient to the emotions.
And aren't there people in the world working like that? It's like there's such a great presentation of this. Like you said, this is very much not a cliche. You said a trope. There we go. And very much a trope that happens most of the time in a lot of cartoons. So I find this is a very well-rounded version of that, where it's like it really does something a little bit different here, and I appreciate that a lot.
For sure.
So yeah, let's do our final episode of today. Business time.
Business time.
So okay.
I feel like this episode is basically like the opposite of what we were just talking about, where it's like, on one hand, you have the heart that's so focused on the emotional needs, the emotional intelligence, that it kind of makes the logical intelligence subservient. Where on this side, you have the business guys who are so focused on the illogical intelligence, the efficiency, that they downplay the emotional intelligence, the emotional needs.
I love it. Like, that's what I like. That is the thing. Like, I love that it was like a back-to-back of what you were saying. Like, the moment he says, like, that's not logical, I'm like, that's what Nathan was saying about the last episode. So it's like, this very much feels like that. Like, we had that episode where we're focused on the complete emotional range of, like, doing things. And then this one focused on the very, like, and it's fascinating because that passion led to doing something bad, so something evil, but again, it's something that the Ricardio wanted love the same. Like, and love is not bad, but the way he tried to accomplish getting that love was evil. He wanted to rip it out from
too obsessive with it.
Exactly. So it's the same thing happened here, but in reverse with logic, where logic is not bad. The logical thing, like to keep someone safe, like the logical thing, keep someone safe. They're not going to get hurt. There's nothing bad going to happen to them, but you're robbing them of their free choice. You're robbing them of their free thinking. You're robbing them of what Finn says, their happiness. So it's like, and
this came from a good place as well. Where like for the business guys, this came from a need of we want to be useful, we want to be helpful, we want to do something with our hands. We want to have a function and a purpose, and that's good too. But you can't get so obsessed with trying to be the most efficient or logical with your purpose to the point that you get so caught up in the structure of things they leave no space for the enjoyment of things, either for yourself or for the other people around you.
Exactly. That's such a great and more like if you're watching it back to back, like it really does like give you like those two lessons really, really well in that sense. It's like, hey, like passion sometimes can lead to something wrong if you're not keeping it in check, and logic could also lead to something wrong if you're not keeping it in check. You should be like a balance of both things. But of course, another big thing that this episode is delivering to us is like, hey, don't be lazy. Like, and it's not about like, it's not bad to like have people work with you. And like, if like make it like a load of like, hey, like I'm gonna get these people under me so we can work something together and we can do something that, but you need to work too. Like, and once you like, if you become, I think that's so interesting because essentially what their adventuring thing becomes a bit like kind of like a business thing where, and now they feel like, oh, we don't have to do anything because these people are working for us and they can do anything. But what happens is that your purpose, your goal for whatever you were trying to do can be misconstrued by others, essentially others' thoughts and others' wants and others' desires. So it's like there's also this level of like, hey, be careful because like you can't trust everyone's like not in your same, like if you're someone who's just trying to do good, like not everybody's gonna be in that same mentality. Not everybody's gonna understand how to do that.
Yeah, like it's great to have people help you, and like it's necessary for people to help you. But at the end of the day, no person is a replacement for you, and you get the most fulfillment out of operating from what works for you, and like you are actually working alongside the folks as well. Where it's like these business guys, they want fulfillment, they want purpose, and that was great. But the problem is that Finn and Jake kind of wound up giving up their fulfillment and their purpose to these guys instead, and just kind of slacked off the whole time. Whereas obviously the episode started from Finn and Jake enjoying their fulfillment, their purpose so much that they wanted to like make a training gym for themselves, basically. Like that's how much they love adventuring. But the moment they step back and like let these guys do everything, they just became slack and lazy and just were not operating under the same fulfillment, under the same quote unquote efficiency as they did before, because they're just not the joy out of life they did anymore. They found a new joy in laziness and not really doing much, sure, I guess, but that comfort kind of took away from the potential that they were already leaning in before. So it's like give yourself, like if you get so caught up in the laziness, you kind of lose sight of your potential and purpose.
Yeah, and like we're at church, we were talking about leadership this month. Or last, I guess, the month of February. Like we were talking about leadership, and I think a good leader finds what someone else is passionate about and tries to help them grow in that passion. Tries to help them do something with that passion. A good leader has a vision, and essentially, if other people finds people that helps them make that vision happen, basically. But within that vision, they are essentially helping someone achieve their passion too. Like the business people, their passion was being helpful. Like, I want to be helpful. I want to do a good job, right? But the moment, like you said, like that, the Finn and Jake's passions of being heroes, of being adventurers, is given to them, they do not handle it well. They're not. That's not what they are built for. That's not what they are passionate for. They're not passionate about heroing. They're not passionate about adventuring. They're passionate about efficiency. They're passionate about doing the things the right way. So it's like
their happiness is irrelevant. My job is to make sure they're safe. That was a job you gave me, boss. I'm going to do it well because I want to help you, boss, because you gave me purpose. And so I'm going to focus on that purpose, and that just be keeping people safe. I don't care about people being happy.
Exactly. So it's like, I think, and that happens a lot, like, because everyone can be good in a team or in a business or stuff like that. Like, everybody can have like a good coming from a good place, but if like the team can fall apart if the leader is doing nothing. If the leader is doing nothing, everything falls apart. Like, because like the leader is supposed to serve. The leader is supposed to be the one who's there doing the thing. He's supposed to still be there, and that's why it's like what you see in the world and in business, in a lot of businesses and stuff like that, that are like run by billionaires, run by multi-billionaires. Like, their empire is gonna fall if they just do nothing and they stay stagnant. Like, they always need to be doing something. But yeah, I find it fascinating. It's a really interesting. There's a lot of little things here and there about this episode.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, just like what you're saying, you can't really impart your passion to other people per se, in the sense that what I deeply care about, what's on my heart, is not going to be the exact same as what you deeply care about, what's on your heart. There may be similarities, there may be parallels enough that we can work together, of course, but like, I can't be a replacement for you, and you can't be a replacement for me. And I think us as well, we can't look to other people to give us that passion that we're looking for, to give us that purpose. Where it's like, yes, it's great that you want to help, it's great that you want to assist people, and there's like not knocking that. There's obviously a place for that, and it's wonderful that you want to do that. But I think at the same time, you need to have the emotional intelligence to know what it is that you really care about, like the why behind that the why behind that need, and how it specifically gets fulfilled for you uniquely, and then work according to that, where like you're able, and so that leads to more of a balance of, okay, here's the logical side of how to efficiently like do these things and assist people and help and support in whatever ways, but now I have also the emotional intelligence to know why I want this, why I need this, what works for me, and that gives me the empathy and understanding to also understand, oh, this is what also works for them, and this is why it works for them. Like, these are their emotional needs as well, and you're able to keep that all in check. So I think the problem, like what you see in this episode, is like Finn and Jake looking to these guys for just blind, pure support. So to the point that they're in like downplaying their adventureness. And on the flip side, you have these business guys blindly following Jake and Finn, not questioning them at all, to the point where it's like, oh yeah, my purpose is just to keep people safe, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't need to think about that. I don't need to question that. I'm just going to go full ham into this because that's my job, and I don't need to think any more about myself or my own needs. And that at least obviously leads to problems on both ends of the equation.
Yep, I think you said it best. Also, in the lore side of things, like, this was very much one of those episodes as well, like really hammering in, this is an post-apocalyptic world with all the stuff they're finding, like cell phones, computers, also like these almost humans, because they must be human, but like affected by the radiation, because they have these little like
splotches,
smudges and stuff like that kind of like seems, because we know that the world fell into a nuclear like extinction kind of thing of like, and people became zombies and stuff like that. So I find it fascinating because it seems like the ice kind of made the radiation like not affect them all the way. I find that interesting.
Yeah. Also, I might have missed this, but was this our first glimpse of BMO? I mean, obviously BMO didn't say anything, but like they were playing video games on BMO, clearly.
Oh, Did BMO not show up in the first couple of episodes?
I don't remember. Like, obviously, not. Like, maybe you saw BMO, but obviously, like, not a voice line. I don't think.
Oh, interesting. Then yeah, maybe, probably. I don't actually. Now that I think about it, I don't remember him being in the other episodes. So yes.
Yeah, because like the only other time they've been at their tree would have been with a jiggler, and I don't know. Like, maybe you saw BMO in the background of that episode, but they didn't play video games, obviously.
No, they didn't, because they were using that. Even like the music, they were using the little thingy.
Yeah.
No, they don't have BMO. I mean, they do have him now, but like they don't. Like they didn't have him on the other episodes. That's fascinating. Yeah. I think this is the first time we see BMO. So I wonder if next couple episodes we're gonna actually see him come to life now, or
possibly.
Oh, I wonder if there's an actual episode of him actually like becoming a little person, or does he just get introduced?
I think he just gets introduced. It's been so long, but I feel like there's no real explanation for BMO right away. It just kind of happened, if I remember. But it's been so long.
Okay. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening and watching with us. And see you guys on the next episodes of Adventure Time.
Wahoo!